So, I saw DreamWorks Animation's new and the long-awaited sequel that we've all been waiting for, Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, I really like the Kung Fu Panda movies a lot. These movies had a lot of emotion, character depth, and they were hilarious. And one of DreamWorks' best animated franchises ever. When they announced the fourth film over a year ago, I was strangely surprised. Like, we all know that the third movie ended with a really nice conclusion to the trilogy. But deep down, I secretly wanted another film. Because these movies were really good for what they are, and this fourth movie seemed like it had the potential to be just as good as the other films. So yeah, I was really looking forward to this fourth installment. Now, when the first trailer was released, a lot of people were excited but also a bit skeptical. Well, for one, this movie had the lowest budget out of the franchise. The other movies had over $100 million budget or something like that. With this, it had a budget with $85 million, which didn't really concern me that much, since the movie still looked as good as the other films, with some interesting art choices. Another thing is with Awkwafina's character in the movie, which I don't know why y'all don't like her. She's not a bad actress, but I think to me, she doesn't really put a lot of personality into the characters that she's voicing. I'm getting ahead of myself a bit. So, with all of those minor criticisms, I still thought that the movie will be just as good as the other films are. Well, I've seen the film, and what did I think about it? Well, I liked it, but for the most part, I was a bit disappointed. Despite this film being the lowest rated of the series, and also kind of being weird with the marketing, I was still a bit optimistic about it. And as much as I enjoyed watching this new film, there are some elements that I wish could have been better or could have been executed more. So I'm gonna say the things that I did like about this film. I still really like Po as a character. He's still the best part of these movies that made me enjoy this movie more. Jack Black really does this character justice, and I really liked him for that. The action set pieces are also enjoyable to watch, but I don't agree that it's the best action that DreamWorks had. To me, there were some cool fight scenes that I thought were done decently well. The last thing I liked is the animation. It is still just as good as the other movies are. I don't know what it is, but for some reason I like that new song from Tenacious D. I don't know, I just like it. No comment. Sadly, that's all of the stuff that I liked in this film. There's just so much stuff in this film that made me so disappointed, because all of the other films were really good, and I thought this one wouldn't change that. This movie isn't bad by any means, nor is it great, but I wish there was stuff in this new movie that I wish would have been more fleshed out, or I wish it was more interesting. The story for this film is where Po is trying to accept change, and moving forward from being the Dragon Warrior, which sounds like a good idea for it to be interesting, but I feel like it wasn't really thought out well. The villain in this movie is probably the most disappointing villain that I've seen in any DreamWorks movie. The voice acting is good, but she's not really intimidating or interesting enough to be good. Take the other villains for example. All of their motivations were clear, and you can understand why they are what they are to be bad. The chameleon's motivations are kinda there, but it just didn't really feel too compelling for it to be interesting. To me, in this film, she feels a bit too tame to be intimidating. Like, kids aren't scared anymore with movies. The duo between Po and this new character Shen, whatever her name was just wasn't it for me. I mean, it's kinda nice to see them interacting in this film, but their chemistry for the most part was just non-existent. And spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, but they do a lie reveal trope that I think would have worked, but it just fell flat to me. The scenes with Po's dad were a bit fun, I guess, I'll give it that. The so-called return of the villains in this film was nice to see, but it wasn't really used well in a way that I thought they were. Tai Lung literally was the only villain that had lines in the film but didn't really feel like the same character as he was in the first film. The ending of the film made me a bit confused. Again, no spoilers, but overall this movie to me really lacks the quality of what made the first three films special. But in this film, it feels like the most out of place film in the franchise. Now again, this movie isn't bad, I still enjoyed myself while watching it, but I just wish there were things in this film that I wish would have been better, like the first two films. Those ones had a bit of more darker tone and they took themselves seriously in my opinion. But here, there's just a lot of stuff missing on what made the original 3 films special. Oh, and if you're curious about where the Furious 5 were in this movie, yeah, don't hold your breath on this one, it's kinda sad. And this is a small nitpick that sort of bothers me a bit. The DreamWorks animation logo didn't do a little animation like all the other Kung Fu Panda films had. I was hoping for that, but sadly no. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with this movie's existence, but I wish it could have been something new or better than what the story offered. So yeah, I'm giving Kung Fu Panda 4 a 6 out of 10. So that's my review on Kung Fu Panda 4. What do you guys think of the movie? Did you guys like it, or was it disappointing? Let me know in the comments, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.